Hey everybody, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful the podcast. I'm your host Kara. This is my co-host Echo. He is normally behind the scenes, flicking his tail in front of the camera so that I have to restart my sentence and edit things out. Do you have anything to say for yourself? You- okay. All right. Thank you for your input. All right. If you're Each week, I pick a piece of media that has fat representation in it, and I talk about whether or not I think it's positive or negative. This is the last week of our mini episodes. It's the fourth one. These mini episodes, our theme has been fat tropes. This week, we're going to be talking about fat villains. What's crazy about this one is it's so prominent, yet I never really noticed it as a kid. That doesn't mean that it didn't affect me subconsciously. To see someone with your body type a lot of the time put in the villain role could be very harmful. There's a huge list of examples, but a few that I found: Ursula from The Little Mermaid, the Penguin in Batman, Vernon and Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter. I know they're not, the main villain, but they're pretty awful. I would categorize them as villains. And the Queen of Hearts in the animated Alice in Wonderland. So many iconic movies and franchises have these fat villains. I feel like Disney's probably the worst offender, which is anyone surprised? Because I'm not at all. Although I do have to say that when I was little and I would play in the pool, I would have way more fun playing Ursula than I would Ariel. So I don't know what that says about me, but it's a good time. Or sometimes I do both. A one-woman show. She's versatile. But on a more serious note, whether it's casting thin actors in fat suits or simply denying fat characters empathy, the fat villain trope not only points to a long history of anti-fatness, but it sustains this bias that continues to marginalize fat people. According to an Inverse article that I read for my research for this episode, it says, the fat suit is such a fascinating way of saying that this character is not human. It is hard to be simultaneously told there are no parts that are right for you in Hollywood, and then have somebody put on a costume to look like you. And isn't that true? Like, I'm not a costume. Until I read that, I hadn't really thought of it that way. It's like they're dressing up like us, but in an offensive and horribly made fat suit. Like, just cast fat people. Like, I guess if you're gonna make us the villain, at least give us the part, Pop culture keeps demonizing fatness and fat people, reinforcing our culture's anti-fat bias, whether we realize it or not. Media plays a huge role in our psyche, and it can influence how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive others. So with fat people playing the villains a lot of the time, it tells audiences that fat people deserve no empathy, and I think that's reflected a lot. I feel like people are not empathetic towards fat people. They don't care to understand the struggle, and they just feel like you should just lose weight. You should just eat a salad. Just go to the gym. But also, if you eat a salad and you go to the gym, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Double standards. Now, the fat villain wouldn't be so bad if there was an equal amount of fat protagonists and heroes as well. But that is not the case. For this final mini episode, I want to talk about what the ideal future for fat actors and characters would be. Ideally, we would stray away from some of these more harmful tropes and stereotypes. We would see fat actors getting cast in fat roles. These roles would be well-rounded. Some of them could focus on the struggles of being fat, but others of them, they could just be a fat character existing and you don't have to comment on their body. Quality matters, even more than quantity. And we need to see quality fat characters like yesterday. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed these mini episodes. Wraps up these mini episodes, and season 2 is about to come out. So next week we do have a break. There are no new episodes coming out, so you can take your time to re-listen or, do whatever. But on October 18th at 9 a.m. Central Time, we will be back with episode 1 of season 2. It'll be available on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And I hope to see you all there. As always, if you'd enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate us 5 stars, follow, subscribe, do all the things. You can follow the podcast on social media, on TikTok at bbb.thepodcast and on Instagram at bbb.podcast. You can also follow me, your host, on Instagram and TikTok at Carolina Howie. And until next time, stay fat and fabulous. See you on October 18th. Bye.